Welcome, dear learners. Today we will be exploring the concept of community and its characteristics. In ecology, the concept of a community is fundamental to understanding how life is organized in nature. While individual species and populations form the building blocks of ecosystems, it is communities that represent the collective interactions, structures, and processes shaping biodiversity and stability. Through this lecture, we will explore what communities are, their key features, and how they function as dynamic, interconnected systems. This knowledge is essential for grasping ecological balance, uh, ecosystem resilience, and the principles that guide conservation and sustainable environment management. A community in ecology refers to a group of different species, populations living in the same area and interacting with one another. It's more just a collection of organisms. It represents a functional unit where energy flows, nutrient cycle, and interactions shape biodiversity. Communities vary in scale, from small ones like a pond community to large ones such as tropical forests. They are structured by environment factors and species composition, creating balance and stability. Understanding communities help ecologists analyze ecological relationships, predict change, and develop conservation strategies for protecting ecosystems and the services they provide. The major characteristics of communities that we will be discussing in this lecture are species diversity, growth forms as structure, dominance, community as a functional unit, trophic structure, stratification, ecotone and edge effect, succession and dynamics, stability, and last one is interaction among the members. So the first characteristic of a community is species diversity, which is a key feature of communities consisting of two components, that is richness and evenness. Richness refers to the number of species present, while evenness describes how equally individuals are distributed among species. A community with many species but one highly dominant species may still have lower evenness. Higher diversity generally promotes stability because different species play complementary roles, ensuring ecosystem resilience against disturbances. For example, tropical rainforests contain enormous diversity compared to desert, which are relatively species poor. By studying species diversity, ecologists can better understand ecosystem health, sustainability, and ability of communities to adapt to the change. The structure of community is determined by its growth forms and overall physiognomy. Vegetation layers provide the community's physical appearance and habitat complexity. In forests, for example, vertical stratification is evident, with canopy trees forming the upper layers, followed by understory vegetation, shrubs, herbs, and ground flora. In aquatic ecosystems, horizontal zonation occurs such as algae growing in sunlit shallow waters and large aquatic plants dominating deeper zones. This structural arrangement reduces competition by providing different ecological niches. It is also influenced by the distribution of animal species. Each layer or zone supports specialized organisms adapted to these microhabitats. Talking about the dominance, not all species have equal importance in a community. Some exert a stronger influence and are known as dominant species. They are usually abundant, accompany large biomass, and control resource availability. These species determine community physiognomy and strongly affect which other species can survive in the same habitat. For instance, pine trees dominate coniferous forests while coral shape coral reef ecosystems. The dominance of certain species is not only about members but also about ecological influence. Understanding dominant species is crucial for management because losing them can trigger cascading effects and disrupt the balance of entire community. A community functions as an integrated system where different species interact with one another and with the environment. Energy flows through food chain webs, nutrients are recycled by decomposers, and organisms regulate one another's population. For example, in grasslands, producers such as grasses support herbivores like deer, which in turn feed carnivores such as lions. Decomposers recycle organic matter, maintaining soil fertility. This interdependence makes communities self-regulating to some extent, though they still respond to external changes. Viewing communities as functional units help ecologists understand ecosystem stability, productivity, and the interconnected roles of organisms in maintaining ecological balance. Every community has a trophic structure which organizes species into producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers like plants and algae captures solar energy through photosynthesis. Herbivores form the primary consumers, feeding on plants, while carnivores and omnivores make up higher trophic levels. Decomposers like fungi and bacteria recycle nutrients back into environment. Food chains show linear feeding relationships while food webs reflect the more realistic complexity of ecosystems. For instance, in a pond, phytoplanktons feed zooplanktons, which are consumed by small fish, large fish, and birds. Trophic structure is fundamental to understanding how energy flows and ecosystems remain functional. Now talking about the stratification, communities often show stratification means organisms are distributed in different or distinct vertical or horizontal layers. In forests, the canopy provides habitat for birds and arboreal mammals, while the understory hosts shade-tolerant plants. The shrubs and herbs layer support insects and reptiles, and the ground layers is rich in decomposers and soil organisms. Similarly, aquatic ecosystems have surface planktons, mid-water nectons, and bottom-dwelling benthos. Stratification reduces direct competition by allowing species to occupy unique niches, enhancing biodiversity and ecosystem functioning. By studying stratification, ecologists can gain insights into habitat specialization, productivity, and adaptability of organisms into their ecological environments. Communities are rarely isolated. Instead, they transition into one another through ecotones, which are boundaries zones where species from both communities overlap. These zones often have unique environmental conditions and support higher diversity, a phenomenon known as edge effect. For example, the transition between forest and grassland may contain species from both ecosystems along with additional species adapted to mixed condition. Ecotones are important in conservation biology as they often serve as biodiversity hotspots. They also highlight the interconnectedness of ecosystems and the significance of transitional habitats in maintaining ecological complexity and balance. Now, the important characteristic of a community is ecological succession and dynamics. Communities are dynamic and change over the time through a process called ecological succession. In primary succession, life colonizes bare substrates like lava flows or near newly formed sand dunes. Secondary succession occurs in previously inhabited areas disturbed by fire, floods, or human activity. Through successive stages, pioneer species give way to more stable species or communities until a climax community forms, which is in relative equilibrium with the environmental conditions. Sixth session explains how ecosystems recover after disturbance and how biodiversity develops. Understanding these dynamics is essential for ecological restoration, habitat management, and predicting the impact of environmental change on community and composition. Now, the stability is a vital property of ecological communities, representing their ability to resist disturbances and recover after them. Stability depends on biodiversity, food web, complexity, ketone species. Community with higher species richness tend to be more stable because multiple species can perform similar ecological roles, providing resilience. For example, coral reefs collapse when herbivorous fish are overfished, as algae take over and disrupt the balance. Stability also involves adaptability as communities respond to environmental shifts. Studying stability helps in conservation planning, ensuring ecosystems maintain their functions despite pressures from climate change, habitat destruction, or invasive species. Within community, species interact in diverse ways that shape their structure and function. Mutualism benefits both partners, such as bees pollinating flowers. Commensalism benefits one species without harming the other, as orchards grow on trees. Parasitism benefits one but harms another, like tapeworms in humans. Predation involves predators hunting prey, such as lions feeding on zebras. Competition occurs when species vie for the same limited resource, influencing population size and distribution. These interactions determine community organization, species coexistence, and evolutionary adaptation. Understanding them is central to ecology as they explain pattern of biodiversity and ecosystem functioning. Now, talking about the types of the community, community can be classified into major or minor communities. Major or macro communities are large, self-sustaining ecological units like forests, deserts, grasslands, or coral reefs, which contain a wide variety of species and complex interactions. Minor or micro communities are small subdivisions within large ecosystems, such as pond within a forest, a decaying log, or even a tree trunk. These minor communities are often studied to understand localized interactions and processes. Both types are essential for ecological research as they reveal how living systems organize at different scales and how smaller units contribute to the stability of large ecosystems. So, summarizing all the things which we discussed in this video, communities are organized in a group of species, populations that live and interact within definite area. Their key characteristics include species diversity, dominance, trophic structure, stratification, ecotones, succession, stability, and interspecific interactions. Communities serve as the living core of ecosystems, ensuring energy flow, nutrient cycling, and ecological balance. By studying them, ecologists can gain insights into biodiversity conservation and ecosystem management and stability. Communities are dynamic and resilient, but they also are vulnerable to disturbances from human activities. Understanding their structure and function helps us to protect ecosystems that support life on Earth, including human society. That's all for this lecture. I hope you I hope you enjoyed the lecture. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank you.